everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to Live at 5.
Hey.
It is Monday. It is the eve of the Tony Award nominations.
It sure is.
That's all any of us are talking about today.
Yes.
I'm Ryan Lee Gilbert.
I'm Andy Lefkowitz.
And we have a wonderful guest with us today. We have Nick Choksi from Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812. But before we talk to Nick, let's go through some of the news of today.
So the big story today is that Michael Moore, the documentary filmmaker, is coming to Broadway.
Yeah, Broadway debut with a one-man show,
One-man show. The show is called The Terms of My Surrender. And it's described as an exhilarating, subversive, one-man show guaranteed to take audiences on a ride through the United States of insanity, which we're all kind of familiar with right now.
The big question is, can a show take down a presidential figure?
Yeah,
so
I guess we'll see, right?
We will see. Yeah, if Michael Moore, he's very passionate.
Indeed. So that show is going to play the Belasco Theater. Begin previews July 28th. Open August 10th for a run through October 22nd.
Okay, so a big summer show.
Yeah.
And Michael Mayer.
Yes, Michael Mayer is directing it.
Which,
Tony winner Michael Mayer.
Yes, so that should be incredible.
Totally.
Yeah.
Also, we got news today that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is going to go on tour.
Yeah, so exciting. That's
really
sort of your
jam.
My little field here. It's a great show for families. Should be a big hit on the road.
Totally.
So we're really looking forward to that launching and going all across the country.
So that'll be in 2018 with exact cities and dates to be announced.
Yes, all of that. We'll throw all that info in front of you as soon as we get it.
Very cool. Really exciting news. A new musical called This Ain't No Disco by Hedwig composer Stephen Trask and Peter Yanowitz, who was a band member in the Hedwig revival on Broadway.
Right.
So that's going to play the Atlantic Theater Company May 11th, 2018 to July 1st, 2018.
Sounds fascinating.
It features a book by Rick Ellis and direction by Comet.
Right. Who's represented in a few different ways.
He's
Six
just working
Degrees,
on
and he's got Significant
Other.
Yeah, he's popular, that Comet right now.
Great director.
He is. He's fantastic.
Yeah, so we have Cheetah Rivera Award nominations that came out today.
Right.
So formerly known as the Astaire Awards, now known as the Cheetah Rivera Awards.
Deservedly so.
Yeah, honestly. And those honor the best of dance on Broadway. Some of the notable nominees include Corbin Bleu and Megan Sikora, who are dancing their faces off in Holiday Inn.
We talked about this one a lot. Yes. Holiday, whenever it comes to the dancing, Holiday Inn better get all of that.
Incredible. That credit. Also, Andy Blankenbuehler was nominated for his work in Bandstand. Incredible work. And also the full ensemble of Hello Dolly was recognized.
Right, which we just saw.
Yes, we just saw it on Friday night. Incredible.
The hardest working crew on Broadway.
Oh my God.
There. Way to go, guys.
So that's really exciting news. And the awards, the Cheetah Rivera Awards, will take place September 11th at a venue to be announced.
Right. So make sure you keep an eye out for those.
Yeah. The new musical Beast in the Jungle, with a book by David Thompson, a score by John Kander, and direction and choreography by Susan Stroman, is playing the Vineyard Theater in 2018.
Yeah, the Vineyard Theater has been big for all of these new John Kander works. And
And this trio collaborated on Scottsboro Boys, which started at the Vineyard and went to Broadway. So that's
maybe another one of those.
Yeah,
in the cards
totally.
Here. Yeah.
The Regional Theater Tony Award was announced to be presented to Dallas Theater Center.
So exciting. Way to go, Dallas
so
Theater
congratulations,
Center.
Dallas Theater Center. I love seeing regional theater get recognized for
your Paper Mill last year had their big moment. Now Dallas Theater Center. So keep up the good work, Dallas.
Totally. Other Michael Mayer news. Michael
had a big morning.
Yeah, he sure has. Michael Mayer is going to helm the world premiere play Warhol Capote. Now this is based off of based off of a collaboration between Andy Warhol and Truman Capote that they were working on for Broadway, but it never came to Broadway.
Right. I'm a huge Truman Capote nerd.
Oh my gosh, nerd out.
Can't wait.
So that'll play American Repertory Theater in Cambridge in September.
Right. And ART, lots of stuff from ART comes this way. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, and we have a new Never Have I Ever with Sunset Boulevard star Michael Xavier.
That's right.
Who is also set to be in Prince of Broadway. So definitely give that a watch. He's very charming.
And the Never Have I Ever videos are hysterical.
Yes. So sweet.
spread it all around.
Yeah, and lastly, as Ryan said, Tony nominations are announced at 8:30 tomorrow morning, so stay tuned to Broadway.com for all of our coverage throughout the day.
There's lots of things to read on there right now about what we think are the front runners and who's in the mix for all of the different categories. So do all your homework there, and then we'll all be, celebrating the news and talking about it all day tomorrow.
Yes.
So.
And that's all for news.
All right, thank you so much,
So
Andy.
we have Nick here, and take care, guys.
And so we don't have our little clapper, but we can clap in here. Mr. Nick Choksi from Natasha Pierre.
On and off somewhere.
Hello there, sir.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you
good.
so much for joining us and chatting with us.
Hello.
Say hello to all your fans out there.
Hi, everybody.
So tell us, how are things going at that Russian supper club inside the Imperial Theater?
Things are great. We're just happy that people keep seeing the show.
Yeah.
It's funny, doing shows. I'm used to doing shows off-Broadway, off-Broadway. It's my first Broadway show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right, your Broadway debut.
Yeah, and I'm always surprised when people keep coming after my friends have already all seen the show.
Mm-hmm.
So,
when the audience is
people
just
are here to see the show.
Right.
You're seeing it again? Wow, that's great.
Fans they love this show. It's
happy.
had quite the journey, and you've been involved from the very beginning, essentially.
Since 2012.
Right.
That's
so how does it feel now to have started with Ars Nova and just wondering where this project, and now you're on the eve of Tony Award nominations. You guys
really
have
feels
an exciting day tomorrow.
Yeah, it feels like we've sort of climbed the corporate ladder a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. We started doing this show and it was just this bizarre little show that we really didn't get until we started working on it. And we were like, oh, I think this is really good.
Right.
And we really loved it. And then people came and they cried. And then they're like, do it again. And we're like, okay.
Yeah.
And it feels like, I don't know, very exciting. People come because they love the show, but we love the show. And we're so excited to get to share it with people every night.
I can imagine. It is one of those things. I saw it the first time under the tent when it was, and it was one of those shows that really does. Sometimes this gets said about a lot of shows that it gets better with repeat viewings, but it really there's just so much to absorb in that show that you have to go back to just get it all.
Even I pick up new things every now and then. I even pick up new things in my own track. As time goes on, in Russia, there are companies that will rehearse a play for a whole year, rehearse a Chekhov play for a year, because how long does it take to understand life, the world? You're never going to get it in one go. So we've been working on this show on and off for 4 years now, and every now and then I'm like, I say something and I'm like, oh my God, betrayed. What's that like? It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, and it keeps working. The New York Times referred to you as sexily menacing.
Oh.
Nothing like having that written about you in the paper of note. That's
I was happy for a shout out.
Right.
That's the first thing I got told at the after party after opening night. Everybody was like, "Sexually menacing," and I was like,
I would have it on a shirt if I was referred to as sexually menacing.
Although my wife especially appreciated it.
I can imagine.
Like, you're at least one of those things.
Right. I can imagine. You sir, you grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, right? And you went to Washington University.
Washington University. That's right.
What did you major in at Washington University?
I majored in English Lit with a minor in acting. I was a late bloomer.
Because then you went to Juilliard after.
I had a little 3-year sort of hiatus. I was working in St. Louis, Chicago, moved up to New York. Actually got waitlisted for Juilliard and then applied again the next year. So to everybody who gets waitlisted or doesn't make it, try again.
Right.
It was a sort of long matriculation to grad school.
Right. Did you ever read War and Peace while you were in school? Were you familiar?
I didn't start reading it until the show came along in 2012. But I did. I love long books. I read Don Quixote. I read.
Yeah. So you are one of the people that has finished War and Peace.
I don't know how you.
I'm just the type of person who says I have.
Right. It's strong advertisement. It's a beautiful book. If anybody's connecting to the play, you will connect to the book. Fight your way through the first 100 pages. That's the thing that scares everybody off.
Right.
But
it'll reward.
Yeah.
So really what was it? What finally did push you after you had finished Washington University, and what pushed you to really pursue performing and acting?
Oh, sure. I sort of came to it towards the end of college, and then I got this job at a touring children's theater with the St. Louis Repertory Theater.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when acting as a job started to feel like a possible thing. And then because I was equity, I had to go to Chicago. And because, in Chicago they have 4 auditions a month. In New York they have 4 auditions a week. So I kind of had to come to New York. So it was kind of an inevitable matriculation, but I wasn't like okay, I'm going to go be a big star.
Right.
I sort of, growing up in an Indian household, I thought, should I be a doctor, a lawyer, or...
Right.
And so theater was a real curveball for me, as well as my family, my incredibly supportive family. So it was kind of a slow dip into the water of professional acting.
Right.
But I'm very lucky, very fortunate, very, consistent slow dive into the water.
Yeah. And you also, correct me if I'm wrong, you also, know how to play the guitar, which we do know from your performance in this show. But also you're into animation and illustration
That's
right now.
True.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So where did that interest come from?
I did your research.
I did. Well,
that's... Well, I while I was at school, while I was at Juilliard, I started teaching myself animation over the summers, just because I've always loved it, and I didn't know I wanted to go into acting until end of college, maybe.
Right.
And I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I loved reading. I loved, people, and but animation felt like a thing. Oh, well, you have to go to art school. You have to spend your life pursuing this thing in order to have the skills to do it.
Sure.
But then, in the summer of 2007, I found this computer program, which is sort of like a Flash animation-based program, and I just learned that program. And oh my gosh, you can learn anything online now.
Yeah, it's
insane.
Crazy. Yeah.
So for the past year, I've been learning 3D animation and doing this online training program called iAnimate. Check it out; it's pretty cool.
Look at that.
These DreamWorks and Pixar guys put together this school.
Yeah,
where,
that's right. They teach you just online little courses,
gosh,
right?
it's
Like
amazing.
little workshops. That's
and in
so
your
cool.
class of 5 or 6 people, there's somebody from Italy, somebody from UK, and somebody from China, and you're all just in there working on your stuff together.
Right. The world is literally at your fingertips.
The world is just
so take advantage. Yeah. Let's take some questions. First of all, Adam would like you to know that he's wearing his great Comet shirt as he's writing this.
Nice.
Thanks for the support, Adam.
Yeah.
Let's see here. People are loving the show. They think all of you are amazing. Lukia, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. She would like to know, what is your favorite thing about being on Broadway?
Oh, my favorite thing about being on Broadway. First of all, I have to say, it's always surprising to recognize that we're on Broadway because climbing the corporate ladder, it still feels like we're doing the same little show we were doing uptown, which I think is a testament to all the designers and the company and the crew and the fans even. So it's a kind of shock to be reminded that we're on Broadway. Very cool. But I think my favorite thing is probably the community. The community of people, of
nicest
fans,
people on the planet,
oh my
the Broadway
gosh,
community.
yeah.
They really are.
And the actors and the crews and everybody kind of knows each other and plays baseball and bowling together. Do you say plays bowling? No. I was an English major. But I think the community, the people, is probably the most amazing thing.
Great answer. Elise. What's your favorite part? This is a great question. So one of the things about this show is that it's immersive.
Yeah.
The actors are around you all the time. It's like a Russian supper club. Yeah. So Elise would like to know, what's your favorite part of being able to interact with the audience?
My favorite part of being able to interact with the audience is the audience is a character in our play. And in any given scene, in any given moment, we're casting the audience as a different character. You're at the opera with us, you're in the club with us, you're Boris, you're Julie, you're whoever. And my favorite thing is that it's kind of like doing a scene with a new acting partner every night. And so you never know how they're going to react, how they're going to play the scene with you. I have my lines, you have your lines are usually silence. But we are doing a scene together. And it's keeps it really fun and really exciting to sort of discover if this person is going to give me a lot of forward leaning, I have a certain interaction with them, and if this person is going to give me one of these, I have a certain interaction with them. And neither one is wrong, There's no wrong
choice. The unpredictability of it.
The unpredictability. At this point, we're ready for anything. Keeps us on our toes.
Right.
Yeah.
So Brooke, so you have this newcomer in your show. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of him. His name is Josh Groban.
Josh Groban?
He's got a big career probably ahead of him or something.
Future, that kid.
Yeah, Brooke would like to know, what's he like?
He is the sweetest, most humble, most hardworking guy I've ever met. Talk about somebody who's really earned their success. He, like when he got this part, he bought an accordion, he took it with him on tour just to get super facile with it.
Mm-hmm.
He studied all summer before we even started rehearsals, having private meetings with Rachel and Dave, so that he could come in at the level he wanted to be at, and that he knew he was coming into a company of people who had already done the show a lot.
Right.
And he's like, I recognize this, and I don't want to be coming in at a deficit.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to come in with open eyes and open ears and know that I'm like entering into a sort of community of experts.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an expert at his thing. It's kind of like this great meeting of minds with that guy. And oh my gosh, the nicest guy.
There does seem to be this wonderful camaraderie between all of you, which there tends to be, as we were saying, in the community in general and with a lot of shows, but you all do seem to genuinely enjoy one another and consider each other friends, which is great, especially because, you're a little bit of a bastard in the show.
You say bastard, I say...
Good to see you're all getting along, though.
You know.
Billy would like to know, what is your dream role?
It's
a big question.
It is a big question. I mean, there's always the classics. I'd love to tackle Trigorin, Astaroth from, Chekhov, the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to take on George Seurat. That would be really fun. But I really love new plays. I love getting to be in dialogue with the writers and the directors. And I don't know. You can also do with the classics, because everybody has their own point of entry.
Right.
Long-term dream role, I have this idea. There's this Indian epic, the Ramayana, and it was meant a lot to me growing up, and only as I have become an adult have I realized how much it means to me. And so I have a long-term goal to write a sort of rock opera based on the Ramayana, and I would want to play Ram, who's the main dude, who's the
when
Jesus is that story.
When it comes down to it, write your own stuff. Yeah, just give yourself. You've got a great idea. You've got the talent to back it up. You just give yourself the role of a lifetime.
You can make anything with your friends and on a computer these days.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
With Sarah, if you could switch tracks with anyone else, I'm assuming in the show, who would it be? And Love from St. Louis. That's Sarah.
314. Or 636, depending on where you are. If I could switch tracks, oh man, it would be fun to take a crack at Anatole. And I also think it'd be really fun to do Sonia.
Yeah.
I love that.
That'd be great.
I'm probably more of a Sonia in my life.
Okay.
Than I am an Anatole or a Dolokhov.
Oh, interesting. Alec, the best seat in the theater.
Best seat in the theater.
Seats.
Yeah, I feel like there's maybe a best seat in any given region, but I like middle of the banquettes in the middle. I like the orchestra sort of midway back. I love the rear mess because you can see the whole stage.
Yeah.
I feel like there's really no bad seat.
Especially with this show, especially the way that the theater has been renovated to accommodate this.
I sat in a put-in a couple of weeks ago. We had a put-in rehearsal where they run with all the tech. And I sat in one place in Act 1 and one place in Act 2. And I want to go back to the next put-in so that I can just see it from more points of view. I want to come watch it on my day off.
There you go.
I wish they'd let me swing out, but I'm not.
Sarah, this is a good question. You were an English literature major at Washington University. So, what other piece of classic literature would work in the style of Great Comet?
Oh man, I'm telling you, Ramayana. I think that's the one.
I think that's what you need to check out. Yeah.
Ramayana around campfire. That's my thought.
That would be cool. That would look great on stage.
Yeah.
Also, something I wanted to give you a chance to talk about a little bit. You are a big advocate for fair wage on stage.
Oh, yes.
Explain to people that might not be familiar why this is because you've done a lot of off-Broadway and regional theater. Why is this such an important cause?
Yeah, well, New York City is a real hothouse of artistic creativity and opportunity. But it's gotten to the point where the cost of living in New York City trumps the reward from doing theater in New York City. So you either have to have several other jobs in order to have the financial privilege to do theater, or you have to be independently wealthy to be able to afford to do off-Broadway theater. And I think that creates a real vacuum of perspective. So Fair Wage on Stage is about trying to, as we've entered into a point where theaters renegotiate the base contracts, which I'm proud to say we were successful in pursuing.
That's right.
A bunch of amazing people, Nick Westrate, Claire Carpin, Carson Elrod, all these people are really on the front lines advocating for us, because we want to have artists be able to participate in New York theater without having to either cut off a leg or be, millionaires.
Yeah, and you one of the videos that I was watching that you raised a really good point is that if they can't be accommodated here in New York, they will go elsewhere, and you sort of want them here doing this theater with these opportunities.
Yeah, there's amazing art happening all over the country. There's so many cities where so many amazing writers, actors, directors, musicians are making work, and we'll lose our most talented people unless we can afford to keep them here.
Exactly. So stay engaged on that and check all that out.
Yeah.
And then Elliot would also like to know, this is what is your favorite musical?
My favorite musical? Great Comet. No, it's up there though. I would say my favorite musical, I grew up listening to a lot of Sondheim. I remember Ragtime, until I broke the disc in half.
So amazing.
But I think Sunday in the Park is probably my sort of ultimate benchmark.
Totally get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's a fantastic show.
Yeah.
Right. So just a few things. Make sure you can watch. Your guys' Today Show performance was amazing a couple of days ago. So make sure you check that out. And the album comes out May 19th, I believe. Right.
Yeah.
So make sure you stay on top of that and get all. But Nick, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
it was
you.
such a pleasure talking with you.
My pleasure.
We're hoping for the best for you guys over there at the Imperial tomorrow morning.
Thanks.
So stay on top of all of that, and come back and see us pretty soon.
Anytime.
And go see The Great Comet, everybody.
I'll be there.
And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.
Bye.